Hello everyone, it is Eway. How's everyone doing today? First off, before I get into this video, I want to thank everyone on the recent support on my last video. Like 200 views and growing, almost 200 views, so I thank everyone a lot. That means so much to me. Like, I haven't done an actual or one of these style videos before, so I'm glad everyone is enjoying it. But to go off of that topic of that video, and as you're seeing from the title, we have Nick Burkhart surviving in the Dead by Daylight realm against its killers. Now, with me with over 1,000 hours in the game, and I have posted a few videos on the channel, I believe I can safely make this video and be able to accurately grade against its killers. Now, there is a lot of Dead by Daylight killers in the game. I'm not going to be going through all of them, just, you know, the top dogs, I guess you could say, you know, the top of your more top tier killers, because this video would just be way long. But yeah, I feel like this would have been a fun video to make, and hope you all enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you do, and be sure to subscribe. I'm like so close to 400 subscribers. Like, please let me get there. Let's blow up the channel this year. Let's do it. And my new song is out now. Link down below. Check it out. Alright, so how this video will work is we will pick the most iconic of Dead by Daylight's killers and put them one-on-one against Nick himself. And he would have to repair a generator to escape. If you guys do not know the rules of Dead by Daylight, it follows. There are 4 survivors in the map at a time and 1 killer. The said survivors do not know who the said killer is until they run into him in the match, or by other means, but that is generally how you would, you know, find out who the killer is. The killer's goal is to down and hook the other survivors as a sacrifice to the entity who is in lore, the ruler of the realm. There is extensive lore to this, so, you know, that's just the basis of it. The survivor's only goal is to escape by fixing generators around the map. The survivors also have tons of items they can use as well, such as flashlights, medkits, tons of items at their disposal. They have pallets as well around the map to stun the killer with, and the survivor cannot kill the killer at all, only escape with those pallets or looping and vaulting windows, which, you know, there's gameplay in the background to show off all of this. So with how the game works out of the way, let's get into our first killer, and this is no other than the Trapper, the face of Dead by Daylight. The first killer introduced. Let's get into it. So the Trapper being the very first killer is very basic in terms of gameplay. The only thing he can do is lay traps around the map. We're not going to be taking perks into this. Now, if you guys know about Dead by Daylight, you know there's different perks. The killers and survivors, we're not going to be getting into none of that. This is just pure, raw, like, realism. Like, if Nick run into these guys, you know, what's going to happen? He's still going to have to, you know, do the generators or whatnot. Would he even be able to do it? You know what I mean? Against the Trapper. So that's basically how we're gonna do this. So the Trapper, I would imagine that it would start off, you know, Nick teleported to the realm. And doesn't really know what's happening, but he's figuring out along the way. Sees, you know, the bear traps around the map. Because if you guys don't know, the Trapper doesn't start off with his traps. He actually has to pick them up around the map, so Nick could potentially see one of the bear traps just, you know, hanging around on the ground. He's gonna scope it out, use his detective brain. He's gonna figure out, you know, why the hell, what's going on? Why are these traps around here, or where am I at? You know, he could see a couple generators. You know, why are these here in the middle of the woods? You know, what's going on? You know, he's gonna try to figure this out. Might stumble upon the exit gates, depending on where he was spawned at or teleported to. Might stumble upon the exit gates, see, okay, well, why these gates are here, these generators, you know, what is all this for? Could potentially see the Trapper. Now, I imagine Nick would probably spawn in or get teleported in to the realm with his flashlight, because Nick carries flashlight. He's a detective, obviously. He's always got a flashlight. You can imagine him getting teleported into the realm with said flashlight, because you could use flashlights in the game to stun the killer, blind him, which is one of my favorite things. You're probably going to see me blinding the killer, or at least trying to in the gameplay. So, yeah, love flashlights. Nick would probably have one of them. So he'd see the killer, he'd see the Trapper, you know, shine the flashlight over, look at around. Because I imagine the realm's probably pretty dark. Doesn't really say in the game, there's fog everywhere. So I imagine it's kind of dark, right? Flashlights are really not to light anything, it's to blind, but imagine it's kind of dark, like getting off topic, but anyway, I can imagine he'd have the flashlight, he'd shine it over towards that direction, boom, hits Trapper right in the face. Oh, you know, Trapper screams, making noise. Nick's gonna run, he's like, oh sh. Nick's still gonna have his enhanced stamina, his enhanced strength, all of that. He's still gonna have, you know, same powers he possesses. So this enhanced hearing, he can probably even hear the Trapper set the traps or coming up to him to begin with, you know. So, honestly, let's just go ahead and call it to the chase. Trapper against Nick Burkhart. I would think Nick would be able to escape by doing the generators. Now, we're not going to have him doing one generator. Let's say it's like 2 or 3. He's going to be doing at least 2 or 3 generators to escape, but I could still imagine that Nick would. If this isn't a realism scenario, and there's no, like, perks, you know, or a read like there would be in the game, and said, this would probably be pretty even, fair, you know, fight. Like, does Nick die? No, he definitely does not. Nick survives and he potentially escapes the realm itself against the Trapper. So yeah, now let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Nick 100% escapes here. Trapper's just too basic. Nick's too fast. He's gonna 100% get away. Nick's basically got built-in, you know, haste boost that the game would call it. He's fast. Yeah, too much stamina. His enhanced hearing. Yeah, Trapper's not killing Nick. There's no way Nick escapes. Kind of easy no diff on Trapper here.
Now our second killer that's going to be going up against Nick is Chucky. Now I wanted to throw a licensed killer in here. I'm going to begin to do 4 killers in this video. 4 different styled killers. Like first we have the Trapper. Now we have a stealth killer. 4 killers, so 2 more after this. I wanted to add a licensed killer, and no other than my favorite, Chucky, had to be put in this video. I literally love Chucky. Like, I've got Chucky everywhere. My wallpapers, you know, little Chucky figures. I love Chucky, right? So, had to throw Chucky in here. Biased? Yes, pretty much. Over Michael? Yes, love Chucky. Anyway, so Chucky. Now, Chucky is still, to this day, one of the most different characters within the game with his height. That's basically it. He has, you know, the same ideals as other characters, but Chucky's height is what really sets him apart within this game, and his ability to slide underneath the pallets. If I could get some gameplay up here, I will show you. I'll probably try to get a little bit of killer gameplay, but keep in mind, you know, I do not play a lot of killers, so, you know, I'm trying to get the best gameplay possible to show you guys, but we'll throw a little bit of Chucky gameplay in the background here. I will do that. So you can see you can slide up under the pallets. He can do this little dash thing, and he's stealthy, right? You're not going to really see Chucky coming. Yeah, he's got his little footsteps, but those footsteps, after he enters stealth mode or hidey-ho, they go frantic. They go all over the place. The steps don't really help anything in that point, right? So how would Nick Burkhart fare against Charles Lee Ray, the man himself, Chucky? So this one I feel like would be obviously a way harder fight. Just because Charles Lee Ray is, he's got more skills to his book. He's short, he's small, he's smarter, in my opinion. This guy's got so much shit, he can literally split his soul in half into other dolls. Chucky's kind of overpowered, right? And part of the occult, you know, he can do occult things and stuff like that with magic and all types of stuff. So yeah, Chucky's really got kind of a lot in the bag here. Compared to Trapper, who could just place down traps. I don't know about the intellect of Trapper. I've always assumed Trapper is kind of a dunce, you know, which I don't know in lore if that's true or not, to be fair. I know the Hillbilly, which I kind of did expose, Hillbilly will be coming up on the list. Is it the smartest? Is it the brightest? So that would be something a bit easier for Nick in that regard, but Charles Lee Ray is not. He's definitely very smart. But I don't even see the stealth really coming into aspect much, because if you guys know, we got Nick's. Now I'm trying not to glaze Chucky too much, so I'm trying to give Nick a little bit more credit here. That's why I give him with his enhanced hearing. Like this dude Nick can hear shit from what seems like half a mile away. Like dude can hear crap further than some of the other bets on the show might, like a blue bot. Like his hearing is insane. So I don't really think Chucky's stealth's going to help him much. He's probably going to hear him coming. He's probably going to hear the leaves crunching up under his feet or just anything. He's probably going to hear that, right? Like, you're not typically going to as a stealth killer. That's kind of the whole point. But with Chuck, and it being more a real-life scenario, he's definitely gonna hear Chucky coming. Honestly, I would say this one's probably 50-50, because I could see Chucky winning here, and I could see Nick winning here. I'm not really trying to glaze either one, especially not Chucky, I don't want to be biased. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to say it's probably 50-50. Like, I think overall, even if Chucky were to win, I don't think he's sacrificing Nick to the entity, right? Like, Nick would probably get the generators done whilst being half dead himself, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a tie there in that regard, like Nick's half dead. Because if you guys didn't know, in the game, I didn't mention this in the last part, but you get 2 hook stakes. Technically 3 hook stakes. You get put on the hook, then you can get taken off the hook. But if you get put on again, you get thrown in the struggle state, which definitely will have gameplay of here. So you're struggling, trying to stab by spider gods or whatever, the entity, whatever. So I feel like at that point, Nick would probably get to that stage. Obviously get off the hook on his own, which typically doesn't happen once you get to that stage in the game. But we're just going off of different types of lore here. So I imagine Nick would probably outpower the entity, get off the hook. So yeah, 50-50 there, and I think pretty good battle, I would say. Like, I'd love to see Nate go against Chucky. That'd be cool. But yeah. On to the next killer, the hillbilly. Alright, now we have our 3rd killer on the list, the hillbilly. Now at this point, Nick's already, kind of used or gonna know what's happening when it comes to the realm. Keeps getting teleported back. He got teleported back during Chucky. Now he's getting teleported back again during hillbilly. So Nick's at this point getting kind of used to how the realm works, what he's supposed to do, what he's getting to that point, because he's gonna have to against the hillbilly. This is gonna be Nick's toughest battle yet. Right, now keep in mind, I did say that Nick, in game lore would probably have some type of haste boost because of his enhanced speed, stamina, stuff like that he has on this show. Well, with hillbilly, it's not really going to matter. He might have been able to outrun Trapper and Chucky to some extent because Chucky's got that dash. Would he be able to outrun the hillbilly? Probably not. Now, you can dodge hillbilly, you can dodge Chucky, pallet slam him, and I can imagine Nick would be doing all that. Definitely going to be maneuvering. But when it comes to hillbilly, his speed is it's just too outmatched. It's not Blight levels of speed. Like, if I put Chucky going against Blight, it's kind of just done deal. Like, there's not really much you could say. Like, maybe he survived. He's fought Besson, and Blight's, corrupted into like this monster being creature thing. But Blight probably isn't gonna happen. With hillbilly though, however, more of a fair fight. But I still have this one. Actually, Nick's dying to the hillbilly. I think Nick's enhanced speed, I think, is not really gonna do too much in this situation. Even his hearing, like, you can hear his chainsaw from across the map anyway normally, so his hearing's not going to help much here. His strength's not going to do anything here because he can't kill the killer. He might be able to stun him without a pallet in other ways, but he can't kill them or anything. Yeah, no, I think Nick right here, and this is kind of cooked. I don't think Nick's getting half beer. Hillbilly's just way too fast, man, and he has got that one hit down capability, which Nick hasn't even seen yet before, or gone up against. You can maybe argue Trapper, but like I said, I don't think he's getting caught in a Trapper trap to begin with, right? But Hillbilly's definitely gonna get caught by Hillbilly, especially if he's the only one working on gens. Hillbilly can easily get from one gen to another. Like, maybe if Nick had help, it's possible, but no, not in this scenario. No, we're giving this to Hillbilly. Enough said about that, and on to the very last killer of this video. I had to save the best for last, the nurse. Alright, for our last killer on the list, we're going to be going no other than the main lady herself, the nurse. Now, once again, if you guys are not players of Dead by Daylight, I hope I encourage you to at least get into the game. The current state of the game is a bit iffy, but at least I hope I encourage you to at least see what the game's about. But with that being said, just so you know, this killer is the strongest killer in the game, hands down. The nurse is one of the original killers released back almost
over a decade ago at this point. I believe it's been that far. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the exact date for when the nurse came out, but she's been in the game a while, and to this day, still the strongest, most broken OP killer in the game. The only one that can break the game as much as she do with teleporting through walls. That's the only ability she has, but has been the strongest for over a decade. So how could Nick Burkhart fare against the nurse? Now, it looks like I said, Nick Burkhart himself, crazy hearing, crazy speed, stamina, you name it, he's got it. Like I said, if he was in the match, he'd probably have like a natural haste boost just when he moves around, you know. But against the nurse, there's a reason she's the strongest in the game, because she literally breaks the game. She could teleport through solid objects and do it multiple times. There's add-ons, but we're not going to be getting into that because there's add-ons on every killer and survivor items that extend durations, do different things. We're not getting into that. Just base nurse can still do it multiple times, can teleport. But you might be surprised in where I'm going to be ranking this, because honestly, I believe, in my mind, I believe Nick Burkhart survives here. Now, hear me out. The reason I have him surviving here and losing the hillbillies, for one, hillbillies' speed is just too insane, and the one-hit capabilities. That's what sets Hillbilly apart from everyone, even the nurse for this situation, is because he can one-hit Nick and it's over with, right? Not much he's going to be doing there, but with the nurse, Nick's enhanced hearing, I feel you can hear a nurse from across the map as well, kind of like the Hillbilly, although it's not as, you know, not going to know exactly until she's right up on you, teleporting on you. But Nick's crazy hearing, man, I just feel like he's going to know where she's at no matter what. Like, he's not getting teleported on. I feel like he's just getting out of there. So, like, it's not going to be an easy fight. I'm not going to say it's a 50-50. I'd say he probably gets hit a couple of times. Maybe even potentially gets hooked for the first time. But 100% Nick, I believe, gets out of this. Just for the enhanced hearing alone. Like I said, all of his other capabilities and skills aren't really going to help too much. Like the enhanced streak's not really going to do anything, you know, gets the nurse. His speed's definitely going to. His enhanced speed and hearing is definitely what's going to play in a factor here. But, yeah. Let me know how I did. Let me know if I did good on this list, on this little ranking here. Or if I glazed Nick a little too hard. I don't think I did. I think it was fair. Overall, I believe it was fair. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you all for the most recent support. Let me know what videos you guys would want to see next. And if I should do another Grimm video, or I've got a few ideas for some other series I might review or go over. But just let me know down below. Anyway, it's been Eway, and I'm out of here. Check out my new song, okay? New song just dropped. Got another one dropping soon. Always banging out the music, okay? Check it out. Put that shit on rotation. Anyway, peace out.